Set real-time clock and weekly schedule. SD Amigo panel. To activate the weekly schedule, you must first set the clock (RTC). The panel must be turned off to set the clock and weekly schedule. When the panel is in off mode, press and hold the weekly schedule button for 2 seconds to enter edit mode. The third display indicates the mode. On means when the oven starts according to the weekly schedule. Off means when the oven shuts off according to the weekly schedule. RTC stands for real-time clock. The fifth display indicates the day of the week. Press plus or minus between 1 and 7 to select the current weekday. For example, Monday equals 1, Friday equals 5, Sunday equals 7. The fourth display shows the time. Use plus and minus to set the current time. To save your settings, press and hold the weekly schedule button again for 2 seconds until the display returns to off. Now you can set the weekly schedule. From off mode, press and hold the weekly schedule button for 2 seconds to bring up the time setting menu. To set the oven's start time, make sure the third display shows on. Choose which weekday you would like to adjust the start time for in the fifth display. Change the oven start time in the fourth display with the plus and minus button. If you don't want the oven to start or shut off any of the weekdays, set the fourth display to off. You find it between 23:59 and midnight. Use the fifth display to change the weekday and then set the start time for each day of the week in the fourth display. You then do the same for the shut-off time by changing the third display to off, and follow the same weekday and time procedure as for the start time. When you've set all days, press and hold the weekly schedule button until the top display changes back to off. To activate the weekly schedule, press the weekly schedule button once. The weekly schedule diode lights up. The upper display, marked off, goes dark at the same time as the second display lights up with STB. This means standby and that the weekly schedule is active, waiting for the oven's clock in the fourth display to reach the scheduled start time. In this example, 6:30 on the third day of the week. When the clock reaches the set start time for a given day, the oven automatically turns on and heats to the most recently used temperature, and the weekly schedule remains active until you turn it off. The upper display shows the oven's current temperature. The second display shows the latest temperature used, which the oven will heat up to. It also remembers the oven's latest settings, heating elements, offset temperature, latest baking time, steam time and more. And the heating element's diode is on, which means that they active. The oven will shut down at the desired time if the weekly schedule has been programmed with a shutdown time for the current day.